All right, this is our PowerPoint on types of variables by Mackenzie King and Shelby Carroll. So what is a variable? A variable is a characteristic being measured that varies among persons, objects, or events being studied. An example of this could be age, which is considered a variable because it can come in many different values. Specific types of variables are used to find causation or correlation within the study. Descriptive variables are those that can be reported on without relating them to anything in particular. Demographic variables describe a specific population. Examples of this type of variable include population size, location, job title, age, and income level. Categorical variables result from a selection from categories, such as agree or disagree. Other examples of this would include gender and ethnicity. Nominal and ordinal variables are also categorical. Numeric variables give a number, such as age. To understand the variables in an experiment, it's important to understand the types of experiments. In a true experiment, subjects are randomly assigned to the treatment conditions. The only differences in the groups would be due to chance. This is good for showing that cause and effect relationship. A quasi-experiment occurs when subjects have not been randomly assigned to the treatment condition. Experiments that take advantage of natural occurrences are quasi-experiments. For example, comparing achievement level of firstborn children with that of latter-born children, or comparing student performance at two schools, one of which has a lower student-teacher ratio. The experimenter is unable to assign subjects to treatment levels because the subjects are already in pre-existing groups. So before we start on dependent and independent variables, we have a video. Alright, so the event studied and expected to change when the independent variable is manipulated is a dependent variable. You can have more than one dependent variable in a study. An example of this could be looking at not only body weight overall in pounds, but also looking at it as body fat in terms of a percentage loss. The dependent variable reflects the output resulting from manipulation of the independent variable. Dependent variable types include nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio, depending on the type of data gathered. An example of this could be in the randomized control test on fall prevention. The fall prevention program is the independent variable, and the number of falls at follow-up is the dependent variable. The independent variable, is the variable representing the value being manipulated by the researcher, which is the intervention or treatment. So in a true experiment or randomized control trial of fall prevention, the participant is randomly assigned to one of two independent variable conditions, either experimental, or control condition. Like dependent variables and being able to have multiple of them, independent variables have their own little quirk, which is levels. So a study done on the reduction of pain with medication could include 3 potential levels: no medication, 1 pill, or 2 pills. So with extraneous and confounding variables, we also have another video for you. So these variables could also be called lurking variables. Extraneous variables are undesirable variables that influence the relationship between the variables that an experimenter is examining. These are variables that influence the outcome of an experiment, though they are not the variables that are actually of interest. Confounding variables can affect your findings. However, with strict rules and precautionary measures, confounding variables can do less harm. The control variable is often no treatment or the usual treatment or situation. An example could be an Alzheimer's client might be in a control group where no treatment is given, or they might be in a group where the usual treatment is given, but either of those groups would be compared to the new treatment group, such as a different medication, which would be the independent variable in the study. So, as we wanted to know, we have a lot of different references for our personal PowerPoint, and that kind of was because with each website we would go to, they would talk mainly about, independent or dependent, or, confounding variables just specifically. So we had to go to a lot of different places to get all of our information. Just something, if you guys are going to be studying for this, kind of, you got to dig a little deeper. And then our top resources are another YouTube video, which we didn't show today, a statisticshowto.com that kind of gave a broad overview of all the different types of variables without going into too much detail, and then Professor Getty's PowerPoints as well. And then we have some questions for you guys. Thank you guys so much.